That was the only fight in my whole career where I wasn't nervous. I didn't care about whatever the doctor said. Like, I just wanted to fight. Well, as soon as I woke up, I bent down like that, and then I was stuck like that. My connection to the Philippines, they want to see another Manny Pacquiao. It hasn't came out yet. It makes me want to double, triple what she has done just so I can give her everything that I can.
What's the alternative? You just settle?
You quit.
Yeah. You know, and that's like, if you take that option away from yourself, it's like, okay, now you just have to figure it out. Like, there just has to be a solution to this problem.
I think even in fighting, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, even in business, it's the same shit. Like, I feel like every single entrepreneur, they hit multiple stages in their journey where, like, at the start, I reckon there's a stage that's called eating fucking shit stage and taking it up the arse stage.
Yeah.
Like, where everything just goes wrong and constantly goes wrong and everything is not working. And I think I'm just getting out of that stage now. Like, yeah, it's hard, bro. And like, if it wasn't for my resilience in fighting and like my mental, having the mental capacity to deal with that sort of like shit, eating shit all the time, then I reckon I would have just sacked it a long time ago. Yeah.
It's, you know, I think it parlays very nicely into your fighting career, your fighting journey, right?
Yeah.
Because I think when we look at it on a macro scale, you were 5-1 as a professional. You were on this absolute tear throughout the entire pro division. You were killing all your competition. You were just destroying it. You sustained a shoulder injury, and suddenly it's kind of like, oh, Ray doesn't fight anymore. Yeah. We didn't hear from you for like 5 years, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It really was like, oh, like there's just no mention of it. There's no buzz about it. Whenever people would see you, they wouldn't get the impression that you were training for a camp or anything. Like, you always stayed active and you always stayed in the gym.
Yeah.
But it was kind of just like you were there just for like the mental release or the physical exertion or just to hang with the boys or whatever. Yeah. And then out of the blue, you're headlining Urban Fight Night 32 for a title fight. And it's like, whoa, shit, I guess Ray's back.
Yeah.
And I think for the outside looking in, a lot of us probably just saw that and was like, oh, that's a bit random, that's a bit unexpected. But I can imagine for yourself, over that 5-year period, there was a very gradual and deliberate process that got you prepared for that moment. Whether you were aware that that's where the final goal was, or whether it was just naturally you kept falling back into the same patterns of training and staying sharp, it was, you know, I can imagine it was a very long journey for you over the past 5 years. It
was, and exactly what you said was similar to what I was feeling. Like, you know what? When you're training every single day and you're fighting 3 times a year, like, training is you, fighting is you. Everyone knows you as a fighter. The only conversation that happens when you speak to someone is, oh, like, what's your fight? Or when's your next fight? Blah, blah, blah. Your identity is you are just a fighter and this is you, you know? And then when I got sidelined and I got injured, like, I actually had an identity crisis. Like, I was just like, shit, what am I now? Like, what am I doing? And yeah, it lasted for like 2 years, and I actually got like a lot of depression, anxiety out of it. Like, it was as if I just didn't know what was going on in this world, like, truthfully. And it took a while to really figure out who I am and what I actually do. And I don't think I've even figured that out yet, but like, I've definitely learnt a lot about myself in that 5 years out from the sport than I did when I was very active. And yeah, just, I don't know, man. It's It's a wild sport. This is.
It's a fucking crazy sport, that's for sure. There's so many battles outside of the cage that people probably aren't aware of, and just being able to step into the cage is a privilege in of itself that not many people get to experience.
Yeah.
Because there's so much sacrifice that goes into getting yourself ready for the cage, little alone walking out with a belt wrapped around 100%. Your waist.
Man, every single, like this whole 5 years, yeah. 5 years from not fighting, I truly realized, like, life is literally just riding in the comfort zone. And so many people end up dying and they're like, oh, I didn't really do what I wanted to do. I don't actually know, but I'm assuming. Like, no one really lives their dreams because they live comfortably. Comfort is a silent killer of your soul, I believe. And when Suman was like, hey, you got to fight, yeah? Like, I haven't told him. I was like, look, like, I think I want to just give it a crack, see what happens. He goes, all right.
Why did you make that decision?
I don't know. I've been having like flashbacks when I sleep of fighting and the feeling of being in the cage, like that uncomfortable feeling. And I just want to feel it again. It's the ugliest feeling.
What is it? Like, is it the discomfort of being challenged? Is it the glory of winning? Is it the walkout? Like, what really sucked you back in?
I feel like I just wanted to see what hard work felt like again.
Right.
True hard work. Like, because like I said in my post-fight speech, I said working is hard and having a business is hard, but nothing is as hard as this. There's nothing as hard as preparing yourself for a 5-round fight and some guy locking the cage door and you're staring at some guy who's trained
Josh Mad Dog Murphy. Like, what the fuck?
Jacked to his gills, staring at me like this. And oh man, like, that's hard, bro. The weight cut, that's hard. The dieting, that's hard. Training every single day, twice a day. Even when everyone's on public holiday and your missus has public holiday as well, but you got to duck out for training. Like, that's hard, bro.
Yeah.
That's a sacrifice, man. That's fucked.
I like that you talk about the daily rituals and routine that you have to go through in order to get yourself ready for that fight. What would a typical day in training look like for you?
So I would train if I'm for a fight camp or just regular?
Yeah, for this fight that you just had with Josh.
For this fight camp, for the first 4 weeks, I was doing weight training in the mornings, maybe 3 times a week. And then the other times when I would not be at the gym doing weights.
Anything specific in the weight training?
More so just... for me, it's more of consistency, just continuously doing that movement and like having a set system of workouts. So on Monday, I've got it in my head. I'll do squats, bench press and rows. Mm-hmm. And on Tuesday, I'll go for a run, like a long run or something. On Wednesday, I will do shoulder press, pull-ups, and what was the other one? Deadlifts.
Right.
And on Friday, Friday. Usually I would skip Friday because it was dips, another shoulder one, and there was one more exercise. I think it was like step ups. Mm-hmm. It's just compound shit, you know? So that's out of the way.
Were you focused on being more explosive in your movement?
Not really. Usually I have like a strength and con coach that takes me through everything. Like I don't even think about nothing. But because I moved up near the city, like he's still in the west, so can't travel all the way to the west. So I just did it myself. I just looked up like the best compound exercises that suit MMA.
Yeah.
Asked my friend ChatGPT. No, I'm kidding. And I just put it into my morning schedule, and I said every morning I have to do this.
Right. So for you, was it more so? Obviously, the physical conditioning's there, right? Like you're gonna get stronger, you're gonna get leaner. But was it for you? Was that outlet of going to the gym 3-4 times a week? Was that more of the mental, just discipline?
That's it.
Right.
That's the only reason I believe I can go into a cage tomorrow and perform very well. Like, but I don't know even if I won, I wouldn't feel as happy because there wasn't much preparation. I didn't work hard for it, you know. So me having to go to the gym every single day in the morning and do something, like, makes me feel like like this belt, this fight, like I worked hard for it, and it's almost like everything's getting built up over a span of 8 weeks, and then as soon as you win, it's just releases.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can fight tomorrow, win, but like you didn't get.
It won't be as satisfying.
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's more so like why I wanted to do it. But actually, I needed to improve my gas tank because I haven't fought in a while. So sprints, Coogee stairs every Sunday really helped. So I added that into what I do. Aside from that, I would train in the afternoon with ATT with the boys there, and I'll let Suman and Ash just take me through whatever they need to take me through. They're the masters at what they want us to do, so I just listen.
Were you specific in the technical aspect of your training? Because obviously you're under the guidance of Suman and Ash, and they're aware of your opponent, who is Josh.
Yeah.
He's got a very distinct, very aggressive striking style. They call him the Mad Dog for a reason, right?
Yeah. He's a mad dog, bro.
He is a mad dog. He's tough as nails. He's a very formidable opponent, and, you know, push the pace.
Yeah.
Really wanted to get in there and just bang. So you would have been aware of that going into this fight camp. Did you have to make specific adjustments or specific technical changes to the way that you fight?
No, not really. I was a bad matchup for him, and I can truly say that. He's fought the best guys in Australia, like Caleb Rideout. Who else?
We can pull up his topology.
Love his topology because he's fought Cody Barnwell. Cody Barnwell was a freaking scary man. He's fought. He knocked out my mate. Like, he was really good. He knocked him out in 30 seconds.
He's fought Blake Shepherd, Cody Barnwell, Caleb Rideout, Beta Mandich. Scheduled to fight against Eddie Teixeira, didn't come through. Yeah, he's got what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's got an impressive and extensive resume.
Yeah.
Of just matchups and opponents.
And most of those fights have gone the distance. Mm-hmm. And it's not like one-sided fights. Like, he freaking took it to all of them.
Yeah. And
I was actually watching on the side because I used to do the Vaseline for those people that walked into the cage. And every time I did his Vaseline, I'm like, fuck fighting this guy.
Yeah.
Like, and then when I see him fight, I'm like, that would be the ugliest fight someone could have in their whole career. And I end up fucking fighting him. But yeah, in regards to his skill set, I'm a bad matchup. Why? Because I'll probably give away all my techniques here, but I'm very direct and straight. Like all of my punches come straight. Or very rarely I go out because that's just the way my explosiveness is and stuff like that. It's a very forward fighter. And he's quite opposite as to what I was talking about. He loops a lot. Like he comes around like that. So I was like, man, the guy going straight will always beat the guy coming around. And that's what happened. There was one time, like I was just going straight into every single exchange, like straight right. And then you'll see he only hit me once, like clean, that leg kick. That sounded like the freaking hardest leg kick ever.
Dude, it like echoed.
Yeah, I thought I kicked him in the nuts before that. And then he did that and I was like, oh, and I went to high five him. And then whack.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh shit.
I wouldn't trust a high five from you though. I've seen a couple clips of you high fiving guys then kicking them in the head.
Yeah, well that was different. That guy was a showboater, so I have to show him. We don't do that in Australia. No, but seriously, like that was the only thing he clipped me with.
That you really felt.
Yeah. And then after that, Suman actually said, watch, don't be shocked if he shoots on you. I was like, this guy's not gonna shoot on me. No way. Like he's a mad dog, bro. Because he has wars and then he shot on me.
Yeah.
I think it was only a matter of time he was gonna get he probably would have got caught on the way in. So he made a good choice, to be honest, because I was very calculated that fight.
He was definitely looking to put you into uncomfortable positions, particularly when he shot down on you. I saw him working on a Kimura at some point in time and specifically targeting the shoulder that you were injured with.
Yeah.
Was that any concern of you in your preparation? Like, were you cautious about the shoulder? Like, how did it feel in the lead up?
Good.
Yeah.
Like, everything's all good. A-okay. Stronger than this one now.
Right.
So, like, doesn't make a difference. It's just sometimes mentally, like, I'll think about it, but it's all good, you know? All good in the hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went for it, and I don't know if he meant to do that, but I was like, wow, okay.
I mean, it was a good test.
Yeah.
To see like how good you were recovering, how well you had really been able to recuperate and heal.
Yeah. But yeah, man, everything was fine, to be honest. It's more so getting my body into the shape that it needs to be now.
What do you think separates a good fighter from a great fighter?
Some people are born talented and some people just have it in them, like that skill and all of that. And some people aren't born talented but they work very, very hard. So I think that great fighter that you're talking about is someone who's born talented and born with fucking sheer hard work. But most talented people, they don't train as hard because they know that they can just back it up the next day. So the motivation to improve is not as severe as someone that isn't talented and they need to catch up. You know, usually that guy that needs to catch up ends up lapping the talented guy.
Do you think you're born talented?
I think I am. Like, I don't classify myself that great of a fighter because there's people who work way harder than me, and that's just the truth. Like doing training 3 times a day.
Well, you're 6-1 as a pro, so that's a statement.
Yeah, because I'm talented.
I love the honesty.
But that talent got exposed when I lost. My only loss as a pro, like he just outworked me. And to be fair, I didn't even work hard that fight. So after that fight, that's when I started integrating hard work into my talent.
Because you got caught.
I didn't get caught. I just didn't know what was going on. I was like, shit. And to be fair, I didn't sleep for 2 days. I didn't rehydrate until I had to go to the hospital.
Why'd you have
Did
to
you
go to
hear
the
about
hospital? No.
It was my first cut as a pro to 66 kilos. I fought this guy. His name's Sam Hibbert, and he's pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
he won the Eternal title after he fought me. And, like, yeah, I was 87 kilos 5 weeks out, and I was fighting at 66. And just think about that cut. Like, it's not a good cut, man. And that's just sheer laziness. Wasn't working hard. Barely even trained. And then I just force cutted all the weight off, and I ended up in hospital.
What do you mean by force cutted? Like you just stopped eating?
I was literally eating like nothing.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like 500 calories
Shit.
a day for like 2-3 weeks. Like, it's very bad.
Yeah.
And that's just from
not the right way to go about weight cutting at all.
No, that's just from inexperience, because I thought I was going to just run through this guy. This is, mind you, that was the only fight in my whole career where I wasn't nervous.
Do you think that should have been a red flag that you weren't nervous?
I don't know, man. But I learned a lot. And I was not nervous to the point where I did not sleep the day before the weight cut because I was so dehydrated. I did not rehydrate after my weight cut because everything I put inside my body, it was coming back out. Like, I couldn't hold water in it. It would just come back out. Food, don't worry about food. That wasn't staying in. So I was like to the boys, I'm like, look, I haven't rehydrated and we're about to go to sleep. I'm like, I'm going to put an alarm on at 1 a.m. and then see if I can start rehydrating then, like my body was calmed down or something like that. And yeah, I woke up to the alarm, and then my heart, I could just feel like stiff. And as soon as I woke up, I bent down like that, and then I was stuck like that. I was like, all right, let's just settle, let's relax. And then I waited there for 10 minutes. I sat there, and I was like, man, this is not going away. So I fucking hobbled to my mate, Sam.
How did you even get out of bed? Because if your head, like your chest and your heart were cramping like that, like,
I don't know. It was such an ugly feeling, and I was dehydrated still.
Yeah.
And I went to my mate Sam Joe Tutu. I was like, bro, I need to, like, something's wrong. Like, I need to, I can't move. And he goes, what? And I was like, bro, like, can you take me to the doctor or something's wrong with my chest? And then he's like, oh, okay. So he woke up, fucking sick as cunt. And then we were looking around the whole hotel room for the keys. We couldn't find the keys for like 30 minutes. I'm like, fuck. So we went to the next room. Josh Kulabau and his team were there. We knocked. And we're like, and Josh and his coach Igor walked out, and they're like, what's wrong? And I'm just like this in the corner, like, fuck. And I'm like, we need the keys. I need to go to the hospital. And they're like, oh, like, and then they had the keys.
fuck.
So, yeah, they took us to the hospital, and then they full connected me to the heart monitors, put me on a drip, everything, because they couldn't find my vein. That's how dehydrated I was.
Your blood was probably so thick.
They honestly stabbed me like 30 times, bro. Probably 30 times until they finally found it. Not like straight away, but they'll try and then go, okay, we'll try again. Like, we'll come back, try again. They'll try again. Probably not 30, probably 20 times, you know?
I'm glad you shared that story, because I think it's important for a lot of fighters and a lot of amateur fighters in particular, to understand the real consequences of not cutting weight properly and not doing this thing almost to a science, I would say. I think it really needs to be treated delicately. And personally, I'm so against, especially heavy weight cuts. I think it's so dangerous, and I don't see the bang for buck. I think there are like a couple of anomalies. Like I wouldn't say criticized, but I've always questioned Luke's decision to do very drastic weight cuts, which is like kind of known for, right? Like he's
Luke Jacob.
Yeah. he loves the weight cut, man. He hates it, but he loves it. I think he enjoys that suffering of it.
It's an ugly feeling, man.
It's a horrible feeling, and he does these insane sauna sessions. And mind you, he's a bigger boy, so he can probably lose a bit more weight than what most people can. But I saw the power advantage that he had against Pagani, and it was like, okay, I can see like the payoff in this. I can see why he decides to go so drastic. It still is something of concern, but I can see there is definitely a physical advantage, particularly with him, someone who enjoys the takedowns. Like when he got that double leg takedown on Rekia, it was quite impressive. And it was so clean, and you're like, I don't know if he would have been able to pull that off at a lighter weight class. Like
at a heavier weight class.
Yeah, sorry, at a or if he stayed naturally at a lighter weight. And then so if he just walked at, what's light heavyweight? 93. So if he just walked at 93 and then stepped into the cage at 93, I don't know if he would have gotten that same conversion.
No way. Well, like, I don't know, man, with the weight cut, because I had a power advantage against this guy. Mm-hmm. Like, when I fought him, I was so strong. Like, and for the first 2 minutes, probably for the first 3 minutes, I was, like, doing my thing. Then my gas tank just went from, like, 100 to 0. And then for the rest of the fight, I was just getting freaking manhandled on the ground. I was just like, whoa, there's something. I've never felt like this before.
You end up in hospital with essentially blood, heart, and organ problems.
Yeah, it was an actual heart problem. The doctor said my heart was leaking like protein. Like he showed me on the paper. I was like, oh, well, what happens here? And he goes, we just need to keep doing tests. It's like, I can't. I got to fight.
Oh my God.
He goes, what fight? Like, you can't fight. I'm like, oh, all right. And I said, well, how long until these tests are done? That's how overconfident I was. I didn't care about whatever the doctor said. Like, I just wanted to fight. Like, I knew I was going to win. And then, so the doctor, me and him were going back and forth, and he finally released me 3 hours before we had to go to Hex. So I had to quickly shower, try to remove all of like the heart monitor squares. It was all over me, man. And I couldn't take it off, so I just had to fight with the squares on me. If you watch the fight, you can see me in the cage and just freaking.
Oh my God, I have to pull that off. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, and
were you ever in doubt, like maybe I shouldn't fight?
No,
not
really. It's overconfident, man. That's the last time I was talented.
Right.
Everything after that has just been hard work. Like, my ground game went crazy after that fight. Like, all I was doing was focusing on ground, and then I've been submitting people now.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does take, a bitter pill to swallow to really light that fire in you again. Because if you get accustomed to winning, it's almost, I hate to abuse the name, but it is almost that McGregor effect, right? Where you've just got this arrogance and this cockiness about you that, of course I'm going to win. Of course I'm going to win.
Yeah.
And that can drive a lot of fighters, and that can build momentum for a lot of fighters. You definitely see it work that way, but you can also see it work the other way, where they can use that as an excuse not to show up to that training session, or not to work on their ground game, or I don't really care about drilling my triangles or this escape, because it's like, I know I'm going to win regardless.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
You're not motivated by fear anymore. You're just motivated by wanting to win, I guess.
Yeah. I'm curious, after that experience of the intense weight cut and, you know, being hospitalized and really having almost like a rude wake-up call,
Yeah.
what strategies, what systems, if you like, have you implemented to kind of optimize your health and optimize your physical ability to compete outside of just traditional training? Like, I'm talking sleep, I'm talking diet, I'm talking hydration. Like, how are you managing that now? Maybe even let's refer back to your most recent fight with Josh.
Okay. So the number one thing I try to focus on is actually keeping my mind like healthy. Because from going through anxiety and depression, all that mental health stuff, you realize that your mind isn't as like, how can I explain? Like, if your mind goes into a bad state of...
Into a bad state, yeah.
And into a bad state, it's kind of uncontrollable. You can't control the intrusive thoughts that come in and all of that. And I just want to keep my mental space, my headspace out of that section. Like, I want to keep it high. I'll explain something after the fight as well, yeah. So that's number one. So I try and meditate every day. I try to get 8 hours of sleep. For this fight, I really just removed all of the things that were stressing me out. Like, I paused business and I just wanted to focus on the fight. And yeah, it's pretty much it. Like that, and a good training routine. And then my diet was mainly just eating very, very like clean food. And I can't wait to get back to that diet, to be honest, because I've never felt better. Like, as soon as I stopped fighting, putting regular food into me, man, I kind of feel like shit, to be honest.
Doesn't sit right.
Yeah, cloudy. I'm bloated.
Hard to get out of bed.
Not really, but like just not as efficient as I was feeling when I was preparing for the fight. So
I only ask because I'm kind of going through a bit of a... Yeah, I've really become strict on my diet now as well. And I'm curious because I had my first cheat meal last week.
Yeah.
And like on Sunday, and like I was really expecting to enjoy it and really savor it, and like I can't wait. Especially me, man. I'm such like a sucker for food. Like, I just love to eat.
Yeah.
I'm such a glutton like that. And I remember, you know, after that like 10 minutes of mouth pleasure, I was kind of like, man, I kind of just wish I had the chicken and sweet potato.
Yeah. There's something that bad food does to your body. Like, I don't know, I'm not a dietitian, but mainly just a mental, makes your head cloudy. Can't think straight, I don't know. But they say that like your brain is actually linked to your gut.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
There is a lot of research that suggests that gut biomes and bacteria in your stomach lining actually produce serotonin. So depending on the types of food that you're putting in and the way your body responds to it, you can actually generate more happiness through the food that you eat.
Yeah.
And so I imagine if your body gets accustomed to very healthy, very nutrient dense, very efficient food, then that's what's going to be able to produce more serotonin, and that's what you're going to enjoy and look forward to eating. And I think it probably works vice versa as well. If you get a cheeseburger and that's all you eat and that's what you get accustomed to and that's what makes you happy, then you're just going to constantly be getting that, but not reap any of the physical benefits that comes with grilled chicken.
Exactly. Yeah. But you get like short time benefits of how good the food tastes. So it's nothing feels as good as eating clean. What's the saying? Suman used to tell me this saying all the time. He goes, nothing tastes as good as being lean feels. Some shit like that. Anyways.
I might have to ask Suman about that one. I don't think that's how it went.
But yeah, just to go back on what I was saying when I said I'll tell you about this later. After my fight,
Your most recent one?
Yeah. So, in regards to mental health, how I say I always want to just be baseline. I don't even want to be high or low. Like, I just want to wiggle here. Like, there's this thing called post-fight blues. After you fight, you're on such a high, celebrate, I won. But that high, what comes up must come down. So you just feel depressed after for 2 weeks. You don't know what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. It can fuck you up, man. So I was aware of that. So after my fight, even my partner, and they're like, you don't seem too, happy. I'm like, nah, it's not that I'm happy. I just don't want to care for it. I just want to, I don't want to be too excited. I don't want to be, I didn't lose, so I can't really be low, but I just want to hover around here. And I felt it a little bit, to be honest. I allowed myself to enjoy it a bit, and I started to get a bit excited when people were surrounding me, trying to take photos, and then that came down, and then I felt a bit depressed, and then I'm like, oh, all right, let's just stay baseline again. So
very stoic. Not getting too caught up in the highs, not getting too caught up in the lows, just sustaining baseline. Yeah. I think that's a very masculine trait to have, and I think a lot of people should probably adopt that, because it's the work is always there. The work is there whether you're winning or you're losing. The work remains the same, and it doesn't matter how you feel about doing the work. It's about doing the work. Yeah. It's about showing up. It's not about the conditions around you, whether you're the UFN champion or whether you're 0-4 as a fighter. The work is still there. You have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do it or not, it's there.
Yep.
And if you don't allow yourself to deviate too far away from your emotional baseline, then you're just going to be so much more primed to do the work that's required. And I think that's maybe something that you're coming across now, where it's if I get too caught up in the story of Ray, and if I get too caught up in everything that I've done in my career, I'm going to go back to being sloppy. I'm going to go back to not caring. I'm going to go back to being overconfident and not doing everything I can to be primed. But if I get too caught up in the lows and the losses and the depression and fuck, why is this happening to me? This isn't the way things were supposed to go. I should be a lot further down in my career, my shoulder, X, Y, Z. Then you're never going to have the confidence in yourself to put yourself in positions where you can excel.
Yeah.
And I really genuinely believe that having that baseline, just, I don't want to say not giving a fuck, but it is kind of not giving a fuck. It's kind of just cool.
Yeah. Even if I lost, I would have been oh, cool.
Yeah. And, I really read that from you when I saw you at Urban. I was so surprised. You were kind of just floating around, talking to people. You were very available prior to your fight. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 fights before. That's probably when you disappeared. But before that, you were kind of just chilling. You're in a good mood. You were just
I tried not to be nervous. But then, when I disappeared, I started getting nervous. So that's the baseline thing I'm talking about. I just want to stay there, because, man, all that shit that goes up must come down. So I don't want to celebrate. I barely even celebrated.
No celebrations?
I just ate some food, bro.
Yeah. What was your first meal after winning the belt?
I think we went to the pub.
Oh, yeah.
And then just got some I just needed food, bro. I was so hungry. And
where'd you go, chicken palmy?
No, it was chicken wings.
Oh, nice.
And some chips and all of that.
Nice.
It was good shit.
Yeah.
That was a good feeling.
Would have tasted so good.
Yeah.
Especially after a victory.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
It did.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's pull out and maybe just contextualize a bit more as to what this moment meant for you, because I don't even know if we've given you props yet. Firstly, congratulations, man. Goddamn.
Thanks.
You know, I know you don't like to get too swept up in the moment, but as a fan of the sport and someone who really admires the athletes, it was so cool to see you have that moment and try to do a front flip but fail. A cartwheel, was it?
It was like a handstand flip.
Yeah, handstand
and
flip.
then midway, I'm like, oh, I'm not completing this.
But it was so cool to see you have that moment and celebrate with Emily and celebrate with all the boys at ATT. Like, that was a really cool moment, and I think those are the ones that you're going to value for the rest of your life. And in particular with your family, like I saw your family, your close family around you get very emotional about this win. It was great to see them, you know, really celebrate and cherish that moment with you. So if we pull out a little bit, like, what did that moment signify for your family?
Not so much my family, because to them, I'm always going to be like Ray, like just an annoying little kid, you know. But more so to my friends who really wanted to see me come back into the cage, and they've seen me fight from the beginning, and like, to them, it's more of a it's more of something to see than even for myself. Like, they wanted to see that come back, like, more than I wanted to see it. I just had to fight. But for my mate, like my close friends, like, they really wanted to see it. Man, like, it's crazy because I didn't fight in 5 years. The moment I announced that I'm fighting again, like, I just influx of messages. Oh, where can I get tickets? I'll buy a shirt. Like, I sold like 100 shirts in like a week, you know? Like, that's crazy amount of support that, like, it's very hard to, I don't know, not many people get that, and I'm so blessed to have that kind of support. And I think for them, it just felt, when I did that flip and I was looking up at the ceiling in the cage, I was just like, man, I'm so glad I could give that joy to them. Like, I saw them hugging themselves from the corner of my eye. They had their signs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know who made. I think it was Shalisa that made that.
Yeah, I saw the poster. It was so cool.
And yeah, man, like, even my connection to the Philippines, man, like, that means a lot to them, eh? Like, even just me holding their flag, like, I get so many messages from people from Philippines saying, oh, thanks for holding our flag high and all of that. Like, they love seeing, like, their own athletes, even though I'm born in Australia. But yeah, like, that's why I truly like to do it.
They're big on fighting over there.
Massive.
Yeah.
They want to see another Manny Pacquiao. Hasn't came out yet.
Of course.
Maybe it'll be me. No.
Maybe. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
It's hard work and dedication, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, you were born here, but your mum and dad, I presume, were born in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So, you came from an immigrant family.
Yep.
Was that an aspect of your life that really shaped you as a fighter, having that, you know, immigrant mentality? Because you and I both understand it because we're both children of immigrants, right?
Yeah.
And something that's very distinct about being in that position is that it is, you know, if you're assimilating into a new country where you don't speak the language, where you don't know the culture, you don't know the people, you're usually coming with just the clothes on your back.
Yeah.
There is a different kind of drive and there's a different kind of need just for pure survival. And when you are surrounded by that and you witness that and you see that, I think that kind of gets embedded into your DNA a little bit.
Well, yeah, 100%. It's in my DNA. Like, my mum, especially my mum, had to work 2 jobs when I was a kid, you know? Like, she was working in the hotels as a cleaner, working in a factory. And I saw the first hint of hard work when I could understand what hard work was when I was about like 14. Like, you know, when you're 14 and you're still up at like 3 a.m. on school holidays or something.
Playing video games or some shit.
Yeah. Like, I'd be up at that time and then it'd be like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and I'd hear an alarm. It's like, what the fuck is that? And then like I'd hear someone get up, and it's my mum, bro, getting up for work at like 3:30 a.m. and like just hobbling up to the shower, taking a shower, going, and she probably thought I was asleep, like doing her thing, getting ready, and then turning the car on and then going to work, you know? Like, fuck, that's hard work, bro, just to put a roof over my head. Like, that's nothing compared to what I've gone through as an athlete, you know? Like, as an athlete, that's easy compared to that.
Yeah. Were you shaped by your surroundings? Were you shaped by the community and the people around you?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I imagine if you're growing up in a position where mum's waking up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work and,
Yeah.
just for bare essentials, right? That's the impression that I'm getting, that probably a lot of the kids that you went to school with were in similar positions.
I mean, to be honest, I don't want to cry. Like, what do you call it when you act? I don't want to. Fuck.
You don't want to throw a pity party?
Yeah, pity. Yeah, that thing. I'm bad with these like phrases.
That's cool.
So yeah, I don't want to throw a pity party, like you said, but like even at school, man, these kids had it good. Even though we're from the West, we're from Mount Druitt. Like some of these kids, man, they had lunch. Their parents came during like their parent interviews and stuff like that. I didn't have none of that shit. But like my mum was working hard, bro. She was tired when she got home, you know. She had to sometimes, like I said before, like we didn't have electricity. Sometimes she'd have candles and I'd rock up to candles, and then my mum's trying to create like a strong, like act strong about what's happening, when she's like, oh yeah, just I'm gonna pay the electricity soon, blah blah blah, you know, like fuck, bro.
Yeah.
As a kid, like she thinks that I don't understand what's happening, but I could fully see it. And yeah, I think like going back on what you said, that's the surroundings that I was surrounded with, and seeing hard work from my mom, it makes me want to double, triple what she has done, just so I can give her back everything that I can.
Yeah. I mean, no one's going to love and give to you more than your own mother, right?
Of course,
like Yeah, that's a...
But the mother's supposed to stay home and look after their children, you know? Like, not actually be the one wearing the pants and having to...
Why was that the case?
Well, my dad's around now, but he wasn't around back then. And that's just it.
Yeah. I find with a lot of people... Actually, I might phrase this differently. One of your best traits and one of the things that really sticks about you is your resourcefulness and your entrepreneurship. You don't like to just define yourself as a fighter. You see yourself as a businessman and as someone who understands commerce.
Yeah.
And I would put a lot of that down to the fact that as a kid, you would have had to have been very resourceful.
Yeah.
Just to
100%.
get by. Like if there's no school lunch, okay, what am I going to do for food today?
Yeah.
I mean, most other kids at the age of 14 aren't having to figure that out. So do you have like any stories or any anecdotes of that?
Man, I used to rock up. Like, man, I'm not going to say I was like, I didn't have any food or anything, but like there was some times where we just didn't have money, and it wasn't anyone's fault. It's just how
It just wasn't there.
it's the way the cookie crumbled. So the way I would get food was like I would I'll tell you a funny story. Like I was always a good organizer. Like, and the organizer usually predicts, like makes the rules of who chips in what, who does what, you know, and they don't understand that. They don't understand the exact amount of money that's gone in to buy the food and whatnot. Only the organizer does. So I would gather up a bunch of, after basketball, I'd gather up all the boys and be like, boys, chip in like $1.50, and we'll get a big chips. I'll go buy bread, and then we used to eat chips and gravy, and then put it on white bread from the bakery, and then eat it like that. Like, it's a good meal.
Yeah, it's a solid carb feed right there.
So, yeah, I used to do that, get the food, and I used to strike a deal with the shop owner, with the fish and chip owner. I'd be like, oh, I'll get this much. Can you like hook it up, add extra? Like, yeah, okay, no worries. I did that all the time when I was hungry. Then I'd go buy bread. Man, it's cheap feed.
Yeah.
I don't realize that it was very cheap. And I ate for free every time. The organizer makes the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So-
you can really see those attributes of yourself willing to step out of your comfort zone, or maybe not even just willing, like having no choice but to figure something out. Right? Because that's
Yeah.
probably where it came from. Like, fuck, I'm hungry. I need to figure something out.
Yeah.
And when you come from those positions and you develop the skills along the way, they just multiply 10x as you get older, and suddenly you've got resources and you've got a bit of money in your bank account. Okay,
Yeah.
how can I reestablish this in a context that is, you know, is going to make sense to me as an adult? And it was really impressive to see that there were just seas of Razor Ray t-shirts, the Comeback Kid,
Yeah.
you know, all over Urban. Like, I thought maybe 10, 15, whatever. There was at least 100 there. And the design was immaculate. The quality looked really good. The sponsorships on the back, there's at least like 10 of them. It was quite impressive what you accomplished with that.
Oh, there was 20 sponsors.
20 sponsors.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes back to your ability to organize and your ability to negotiate and your ability to make things work. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? How did you make that happen? Why did you want to make that happen?
I was going for a run one time, training for the fight. I was in Melbourne, like probably 5 weeks out. And I was talking to when I got back from, like during the run, I was just like, I want to see if I can monetize this opportunity. Like, I want to see if, because man, fight camps are expensive. You know, this shit ain't cheap. Food, you gotta pay to go sauna to recover. You gotta pay for masseuse, the masseuse and physio. All that's all very expensive shit, man. So I was like, all right, let's see how I can monetize this. Spoke to my partners. I spoke to Emily's dad, and then I was telling him this idea. I'm like, I'm gonna make shirts, get sponsors on the shirts, blah 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 blah. Long story cut short, he's like, mate, if you can do it, like that's a pretty big achievement. I was like, watch me. So I started cold calling like some sponsors. I'm like, look, I can get you to sponsor me this fight. I'll get you on 100 shirts, but I'll make these shirts look so good that people will wear them outside. Yeah? And then, like, most of them were like, yeah, all right, I'll jump on. And then they'd give me money. So it was all about just giving these sponsors the value. Like, what value are you going to provide them so they would be happy with giving you money?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's a value exchange. Because the shirts, like I don't want to be kind of rude or anything to other fighters, but a lot of these shirts, people won't wear them.
Oh, they're fucking ugly. I'll say it. I don't give a shit. I'll keep it real. I think this is more so coming from me because, like, I do so much Photoshop and so much graphic design and shit.
Yeah.
And I just see some fighter shirts. And I'm not going to call out anyone specific, but just the general gist of fighter shirts in general, like, they needs a big step up. Needs a big step up. Your mate on Fiverr that did it for $15, like, we can do better. Like, we can do cleaner. You know, you don't even have to do anything crazy. Go look at the latest Adidas prints, copy that.
Yeah.
Copy that, make it your own, stylize it, brand it. Like I always tell fighters, you need a personal brand, you need a story, you need a name for yourself. And that comes down to the merch. The merch is the most important part of that.
Very important.
And when I saw yours, I was like, yes, he got it. Like he did it the right way. It was the best I've seen.
No, thank you,
the
man.
best I've seen, genuinely.
I put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
Not actually a lot of work. I did like a 1 week sprint. So what I had to do was I created like a couple of, I hired a designer and I just said, this is exactly how I want it to look. Something minimal, something that people will actually wear out, not just in the fight. He gave me a couple of concepts and I gave those concepts to my friends. And my friends came, I was like, would you wear this outside? Not just because you want to support me. Would you wear this outside? And the ones that they said yes to, that's the one.
Test audience.
Yeah, it's creating a product. Like you got to test out the product, and if the product is good, man, sold out in 1 week. Like, and a lot of people actually missed out, which is kind of sad. And
They'll have to wait for your next fight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, will you do a reprint maybe?
I can, but I just like that's how it is. There's only 100 that's going to be printed. You missed out. Sorry.
It's like an NFT.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So people can say, "Oh, I have the original first comeback valued at $20,000."
So final notes again, Ray. Congratulations on everything that you accomplished and lifting that belt. And I'm really glad to see that you're focused and tuned in again. You're not chasing two rabbits. Well, you kind of are, but you're not. Yeah. You've got both feet in the door with this, because I genuinely believe that you've got a talent and an opportunity to really hit the high leagues. So my final question for you is, what level of success do you see yourself at within the fight game?
Within the fight game, I definitely want to make UFC, just so I can say I've ticked that off my bucket list. Whether I want to become champ or like fire in the UFC, I don't know. But I just want to make the UFC so I can just imagine giving that to your mates and your friends and saying, "Oh man, like I actually did it." Yeah. So that's probably what I want to do in terms of the fight game. Just make the UFC, make UFC or ONE FC even something big, you know, and then monetize that brand. Like figure out how I can leverage as much out of that situation. I always freaking turn it into some business shit. Yeah.
Listen, Ray, this has been fun. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, bro.
Social medias, let the people know.
My Instagram is just Ray Quintana with 2 A's at the end. That's pretty much it. I got a TikTok account, same thing, but I don't really post much. I should
optimize.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's been it. Make sure you smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Stay tuned. This has been Ray Quintana, Razor Ray, the Comeback King. I don't know what else to call you.
Comeback Kid.
Comeback Kid, isn't that what I said?
Oh, I thought you said Comeback King.
The Comeback Kid. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Are you going to do the mic throw?
Nah, dude. These are my mics. I paid for these.